Hey everybody, today we are taking a look at Nightfall, the Coldest War. This is the fourth release in the Nightfall line, and this is a standalone game. And a pretty impressive standalone game. If you don't know how to play Nightfall, then allow me to point you to that video. I'm going to put a link here on the screen for you, because I will not be teaching you how to play that game. I'm just going to be teaching you what this game introduces, what's new in this, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you what I think of it overall, alright? So go check that out if you need to, otherwise, let's move ahead. The Coldest War is a set that introduces quite a bit to Nightfall, starting with the fact that it's a standalone set, and you get brand new starting minions in this set. And so here we have some of the starting minions. You can see, again, it's the same as in the base sets, where they have a single color followed by just that color, so no two moons there. And we have Clever Ivan here, and this Jarek. And I'm not going to go into them too much, but I just wanted to give you a quick glimpse at these so that you could see. And they still discard themselves, so your deck still thins itself out. So there you have it. And just like in the base game, there's two of each kind. So this is a new starting set. And it's very cool because you can actually mix it with the original set, the one you can find in Nightfall or the one you can find in Martial Law. And each player, you can do it however you want to. But basically, each player could take all the starting cards and just take, say, the purple from this set, but the green from the original set, and then the yellow from this set. You can do that however you want to. Very cool. Another thing this game added, Coldest War, is that now it gave you wound cards that had artwork on them. And so here we have one of the originals. We have here one from Martial Law with that power. And we have a new one, the new one from the Coldest War. And it again introduces a brand new ability for wounds. And in this case, it says this card chains to and from any card. It does not count toward your one wound effect per limit. Really cool stuff. That lets you go wild with the chain. And you can still trigger one of these too. Now, let me show you a couple of cards from the set itself and sort of what they introduced on that front as well. And so let's zoom in a little bit here on these. So we have this one. As you can see here, there's a brand new key ability, Combat: something. So it has the chain ability. In this case, exile target minion having 1 health. Exile meaning removed from the game. But Combat is an ability that you can now trigger from your hand. And so if you didn't, not in the chain, but having that card in your hand, you can discard that card to reduce a target minion to single health. Really cool stuff. I love these new powers on these. Here's another one. This one says Combat. Place this card from your hand into play with 1 health. So a surprise card. Boom, you just sneak it out there. Yeah, he's weak, but hey, that's okay. Here we have Full Battle Rattle. And that one, as you can see, has a chain ability. And it's a brand new thing as well. It attaches. You attach this card to a target minion, and while it's in play, that minion you attached it to gains 2 strength. Very cool as well. And then this one I just thought was an interesting design, because the card costs only 2, hits for 2, has a really cool in-play ability, which says that when it attacks, it inflicts 1 damage on the target opponent, on each opponent rather. So everybody gets hit, but it has a single health. So do you put it out there? Is it going to survive for a whole round? You know, it's an interesting idea. So that's basically it for the Coldest War. Lots of new stuff in this one. One more thing Coldest War introduces is these Moon Phase cards, which you can choose to play with or not. And basically the way it works is you're going to shuffle this deck up of cards, and then you'll flip one, right? So this is the current Moon Phase, Butcher's Moon. It has a global chain, negate all damage inflicted on vampires from chain text, okay? Fine, so vampires are good to go here. And then at the beginning of each player, that player can leave the card on top if they like that effect. So in this case, this person is running a lot of vampires. That's staying out there. Or they can put it on the bottom and flip over the next one. Blue Moon, Global Chain, all actions receive their kickers. Oof, that's wild. Or, third option, shuffle all this up and then just flip one. Because, well, eventually you actually start to cycle through these. So, another thing, not something I necessarily will throw in all the time, but, here, let me show you a couple more. But something that I think is an interesting addition. It's original, obviously very thematic, and it can be a nice change of pace, but I find the game itself, without these little side variants, to be to have a lot going on. So I typically tend to avoid these sort of side steps, if you would. So that's basically it. This is one of my absolute favorite releases in the Nightfall line, because it adds so much. It really, I mean, it puts the last expansion, which was admittedly a small expansion, to shame. That was Blood Country, an interesting one, but not a whole lot new there. And this one, the theme I like better, the whole sort of, you know, Russian, Cold War, whatever theme. It's neat, it's interesting. Again, it's a little formulaic, that theme, but whatever. But everything the game adds is so cool. Combat abilities, yes, awesome. Artwork for the wound cards, yes. It includes the wound card types for the previous games also. So once you got this game, you can take all those old wounds, chuck them. You've got everything you need right here. It had the moon cards, which, well, like I said, I don't you know, play all the time with those. I do think it's interesting. I think it's a neat variant, and if I'm getting bored of playing like the base game, let's say, and I want to throw in a little spice, this is the one. There's some in later editions, little spice things that I was not as big a fan of, and we'll get to that. Go check those out. But the moon cards, if I'm looking for a twist, then that's a good way to do it. I like that a lot. And on top of all of that, new starting factions, which is really cool because you can play, basically the start of the game is a brand new game, or you can mix it with the ones that came in Nightfall or Martial Law, allow players to make up their own starting deck, so I can take whichever ones I want from whichever, you know, whichever release. Really cool stuff. So this is probably my favorite expansion. If you treat it as an expansion, which I am for the purposes of this video, to the original Nightfall. If I was only going to get two things in Nightfall in the line, I would get Nightfall, the original, and the Coldest War, because it gives me so much there. It's really cool. So, if you get a chance, check out the Coldest War. Keep tuning into these videos. I'm doing one for every release so far in Nightfall, and I will see you on the flip side.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower video. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.